Hey guys, welcome back to GiantKiller.co. My name is Daniel Frank, and we'll be looking at George Mason's 75-62 victory today over Detroit Mercy. Starting off, this was a game that saw Sarah Kaminsky move into 4th place all-time in made three-pointers in program history, which is quite an accomplishment. She joked in the presser that if she'd been able to hit a couple more, she may have been into 3rd, but a tremendous accomplishment for her right off the bat. Looking at these stats, you had 4 players in double figures. You had JC and Nicole Cardano-Hillary both with 19 points. Camry Gatling at 14. We'll get to her a little bit later on here in this recap. First quarter, I really thought Mason came out well. It was something that they did not do well against Virginia Tech. We talked about they had 2 good and 2 bad quarters against Tech. Today, they came out 20-9 in the first quarter. They blitzed right out of the gates 5-0 and forced a timeout from Detroit Mercy 50 seconds in the game, which I have not seen before. Second quarter was not good for Mason. They were outscored 24-10. They ended the half on giving up an 8-0 run and got out rebounded 14-8 in the second quarter alone. Really was not a great quarter. And just coming out of halftime, I know it was something that Coach had talked a lot about in the Virginia Tech game, that she really did not like the way her team came out to start the second half last week. And to come out today, they started the quarter with an 11-0 run, which Detroit Mercy answered right back with a 7-0 run before Mason went on a 13-0 run to take their largest lead of the afternoon. It was really, really big for this team to be able to come out, take a punch in the mouth, get some points, get another punch, and keep fighting through. I talked to Coach about that in the post-game presser. This is what she had to say about that. Coach, last game at Virginia Tech, you talked about you didn't like the way your team came out at halftime. And today they came out and had, I think it was 11-0 run. Detroit Mercy came right back with a 7-0 run, and you all closed out with a 13-0 run to take the largest lead of the day. What does that say about this team this early in the season, that they can take punches and then keep coming back?
I think it says a lot about our senior leadership. We put 3 seniors on the floor to start the second half. I think our experience from last year, where we kind of rode the roller coaster a little bit, I think we learned some lessons there, but they definitely took what was said at halftime and came out and made sure that we took care of business.
Fourth quarter, I got to give Detroit Mercy. I mean, all game long, they were fighting, they were scrapping, they kept themselves in this game, which this is a game that they really could have gotten away from them very easily. They're a team that's a lot better than their record for sure. They have now lost 17 of their last 18 games, including 0-4 to start the year, but that includes loss at Michigan State and Butler most recently. But this is a team that is very, very tough to play against. They're going to throw a lot of weird defensive looks at you. They had a 2-2-1 press that they used in the first half, I thought, pretty effectively. They didn't use it as much in the second. But they really challenged Mason in a lot of different areas. And they came out with a 7-2 run. They cut, I believe, 7 or 8 points at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And then Camry Gatling came off the bench for Mason, and she absolutely just took over this game. She had 8 points in the fourth quarter alone. It was like a personal 8-0 run, I think. So she finished with 14 points and 7 boards. I talked to Coach about Cam after the game, and how big that is to be able to have Cam come off the bench. She didn't have the greatest first half of her career, but she came out in the second half and really had a strong finish, and this is what Coach had to say. And then fourth quarter, Camry Gatling came off the bench. She hadn't played in a little while, and then I think had 8 straight points or something like that to finish in double figures. What does that say that someone can come off the bench and just fit right into the lineup no matter who you got on the floor?
We need Cam to be successful. We need her to be successful in order for us to be successful. And, I thought the first and foremost, her coming back on the floor after having not got to start the second half and not have played, I thought showed some great maturity on her part. But our biggest key with Cam is we got to get her going a little bit earlier, and so she doesn't sit, because she's capable of doing that. So we're going to have some good film to watch.
So wrapping up, very good game overall for Mason. A lot of good positives. Was not their best game that they played, but it's early in the season. This is only their 3rd game of the year. And so they'll now move on to American on Thursday. But overall, I like the way this team's moving in the right direction. I like the way they fought. They showed a lot of heart in this game, which was something that we didn't necessarily see from this team until February last year in some regard, where they would get challenged, they'd get punched in the mouth, and finally would fight and scrap their way back through and respond. There were a couple games last year, I remember, where they gave up some big runs, and you can kind of see that they started to fold and pack it in a little bit. I really saw today and so far this season in general, this team fighting back and really just digging in and just doing a lot of the little things well, boxing out, getting rebounds, especially down the stretch of the game. Fourth quarter was not perfect, but they did outscore Detroit Mercy 18-17. And even if you're just outscoring a team by 1 or 2 points, as long as you're keeping your comfortable, they were able to keep pretty comfortable lead throughout. They did the things they had to do to win, and in November, that's all you can really ask for. So that'll pretty much do it for this one, folks. Final score again, 75-62 win for George Mason women today over Detroit Mercy. Next game will be Thursday at 7 o'clock here against American. So make sure y'all come out to that. And stay tuned to GiantKiller.co for more post-game coverage of this game and future coverage of Mason in general. Thanks, guys.